Hi, brothers and sisters. I hope you're doing well. Um, I have some stuff I need to do, but I want to come and share this dream with you. Um, I had a dream this morning, but I didn't. There was so much going on in it that I didn't even come down and write it down this morning because I just wasn't thinking there was anything to it until I just sat in prayer and the Lord began revealing parts of my dream to me. So I'm going to share the dream with you, and then we're going to talk about what He shared with me. So, like I said, there was a lot going on. Me and my children, and at least at first in my dream, it was like me and Keegan were walking down the road, and we were in Bay City, where I'm from. And we're just walking down the road, and we're trying to get somewhere. And at this point, I don't remember where we were trying to get. But we're walking, and I ran into this man, and in my dream, I didn't know who this man was. But he had my cat. He had a Persian cat himself, and then he had my cat. And I didn't say anything at first, or maybe I did. I don't know. But I remember, I don't know. He was saying something about, yeah, I found this cat, and I was going to go and get her fixed. And I said, well, this is my cat, and she already is fixed. And so, kind of weird. We were talking about the cat. I don't know how my cat got in Bay City. This man had it. Anyway, my cat's in a lot of my dreams if you've been following me for a while. Just love my cat. So, anyways, um, scene changed. I'm at this man's house. And I said, because I seen kittens, I'm like, oh, your cat had kittens. And he said, yes. And these kittens were old enough to where they were running around. And there was a kitten I seen on the I think I must have been like at this place on maybe a step to where there's a rail and then there's a kitchen table over the rail, and I didn't quite come up the stairs and come around, and I was just kind of, I could see on the rail and on the table, and I seen a kitten, and it was deformed, like it had like two paws coming out of its chest, like not full paws full length, but just like, the fingers, like the partial, like grown. And I was like, oh, that cat's deformed. And he said yes. And I said, well, if somebody doesn't end up taking it, then I'll leave my phone number with you, and if somebody doesn't end up taking it, then you call me and I'll take it, because I tend to have a heart for the animals that nobody wants, the deformed. I love deformed animals. I don't know why. It's like the animals that nobody would pick. Them are the ones that I like. So he said, okay. So I said, where's a paper and pen? And then I said, oh, never mind. I see one right here. And I grabbed it and I started writing my phone number. And as I'm writing it, it's disappearing. I tried to write my phone number out several times. And as I was writing it out every single time, it disappeared as I was writing it. So I was like, this is weird. It's disappearing as I'm writing. So I told him that. And then I think there was a little bit more conversation, but I don't know exactly what. And then he said, hey, at this point, I had both of my kids there. And he said, I think he said, before you go, is there anywhere that we can go where it is quiet? Or, can I take you somewhere where there's quiet, a little bit more quietness? Because I want to lay hands and pray for you. And I said, I don't I don't need you to lay hands on me and pray for me. I was like, the Lord has delivered me from things I need to be delivered from. He has blessed me. He has overflowed my cup. Like he's, what's the word? He's given me what he's wanted to give me. Like, I don't need anybody to lay hands on me and bless me or anything. I don't need that. And then after that, I ended up leaving, and then me and my children were, it's so weird. We're like walking down, and I think I was trying to get to my house that I used to own when I lived in Bay City. And so we were walking, and then I ended up losing my kids for a minute. But anyways, that we ended up finding them in a store. I don't, so weird, a little party store. Like a couple minutes later. So let's go and see what the Lord. Let me show you. So the first part is, I believe this is another warning dream, and I think you may be able to understand why. You remember the messages, the recent messages that the Lord has been giving not only to me but to many other brothers and sisters, that we need to just be really close with the Lord, not look to your left or right, but stay focused on Him. And then He gave me a message about the enemy, that we need to really just be clinging to the Word and keep your armor on, and be careful because the enemy is out there. He's going to try to, mess with your faith and stuff like that. So I believe this is a warning dream to be careful who you are allowing in your life, like who you're giving your phone number to, who you're allowing to lay hands on you, because, we battle not against flesh and blood, and things in this world are spiritual. And if you've been walking with the Lord for a while, if you're not a baby Christian, then you automatically know how powerful the laying on of hands is for good and evil. So be very careful who you are allowing to step into your life, and be very careful who you are allowing to lay hands on you. That's exactly what I get from that dream. And I know that the Lord is telling me this, and He's also given me the okay to share it, because it's not just for me. I'm the body of Christ. You're the body of Christ. We all need to be careful. We all need a heads up on this. So I believe that this is what this dream is about, is Him letting His children know that we need to be careful. Because the enemy, one thing that He reminded me when I was just in prayer is that He allows the wheat and the weeds to grow together. So you can't tell them apart. What is it called? The wheat and the tare? He allows the wheat and the tare to grow together. And then He plucks out the wheat, and then the tare gets burned up, because you can't pluck out the weeds. You can't pluck out the tare, because you'll rip out the wheat. So He lets them grow together. So there's people in this world that they may look like Christians on the outside, but inside they're, what's the Bible say? Ravaging wolves or whatever. So we don't know where people's heart is. And I can tell you, the man in my dream, I don't know who the man was, but he had the same type of personality as this father figure that I used to have, that came into my life back years ago, back when, 2007. And I consider him a father figure, and he would come over, he would send gifts, and, if I was in need of something, he just, he'd pray for me, and then, my kids, he would, act like a grandpa to them, and my kids loved going with them. He'd take them out to eat, and take them to the movies, and take them shopping, and, he was like a father figure to me, and he loved the Lord. And then it wasn't until a couple of years ago, back right before I got pregnant with Brielle, that my husband and I were having hard times because he hasn't accepted the Lord yet. Things got really dark here. And I decided to leave for 6 weeks, and I moved in with my father figure. Well, come to find out, he was much more interested in being a husband rather than a father figure, and I didn't see the signs. And if I did see some signs, I just kind of like blew it off in the wind. And so, when I was there at his home, I had my own bedroom, and I shared my bedroom with Keegan. And then Paige came, and, she spent some time there, and it ended up getting so weird. He ended up coming out and saying, I believe that I'm supposed to be your husband. And I'm like, you're old enough to be my dad. There's no way. And I'm married. So, no. The Lord would never say that. So the Lord woke me up to that, and this was something that walked closely with the Lord, or so I thought. And so this threw me Like, I think that I turned away from Jesus for a little while and just stopped reading my word, and I just was thrown for a loop. So be very careful, because I went through this situation and think that this was a 100% man of God. This man gets up every morning, goes out and prays in the Spirit, goes in the morning walk and goes and prays in the Spirit, and reads in his Bible, and goes off and does Bible study at a bookstore, and sits at their little tables and does book study, and all he listens to is Christian music. All he watches is Christian television. He takes care of his temple. He's careful in everything else he does. I mean, he looks like Jesus. Like, not physically, but you look at him and he represents Christ. But there's some things in there. That were not right. And so you'll see signs. Don't ignore the signs. And I did. And I seen signs throughout the years. And people have even said something to me, and I'm like, no, you're crazy. He's just nice. No, people don't just buy things for people. He wants more than to be a father to you. I'm like, no. Yeah. So anyways, I've prayed for him. And one thing that I learned about forgiveness, I'll never forget it. I heard this a while ago. True forgiveness is when you can think of, is when you can actually put yourself in the position of when you go to heaven and that person is up there, you see them, and you're actually excited to see them, and you don't have the thought of, oh, they're here. If you're generally excited that they made it, that's when you know that you truly forgiven somebody. And I can honestly say, forgiveness has always been a gift. I'm easily forgiving. That sometimes is at a fault, because I have continued to allow myself to be hurt over and over again from that. So you do have to be careful of that. But I generally, if I seen this man in heaven, I would rejoice that he made it, that he repented for what he did, and that he made it. So anyways, I wanted to share that. I just believe that, we are living in the times when there's so much going on around us, and things are going to be picking up more and more and more. And if you haven't seen I think two preachers, they kind of put out things that's going on around the world. We don't see it on the news, but it's different. It's like weather phenomenons going all over the world. I looked them up, the two preachers. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go. I need to mop these floors and stuff while my kids are in bed. I can't do that when they're awake. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I hope that you are all blessed. Stay close to Jesus and stay in your word. And if you don't know him, today is a great day for salvation. Accept Jesus. Believe with your heart, confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, and you will be saved. Bye-bye.